Alright, guys, welcome back to the channel. And yes, I'm doing a new series, and this one is gonna be quite interesting. So, the name of the show is Jimihen, Jimiko, Okai, Chau, Jun, Isei, Kouyuu, Season 1. I hope I am pronouncing these titles correctly because I don't know, these titles are hellishly long. But, anyways, just like Nozoki Anna had like 3 episodes contained into this gigantic season, so we're gonna do something like this as well. So it all starts. So the premise of the show is basically a relationship between two co-workers working in an office. But of course, we're gonna talk about the two main characters involved. So we have the boss himself, and then we have Hachiya, which is the co-worker, well, his subordinate, and then we have also the plain Jane herself. She looks very plain Jane like, and she doesn't seem to be the most outstanding or attention seeking type. I mean, look at her. She looks like she just woke up from the bed, and she's a bit clumsy to say the least. So, Yukimoto is her name as well. And apparently, they're both talking about something, and he's apparently the boss is cashing in on a favor when he helped out Hachiya, correct some mistakes without him taking the blame fully. So he tells him, listen, I need you to go out with her and find out if she's a virgin or not. And he's like, damn, I had to do all of this. We get to the scene where he's actually waiting for Yukimoto to arrive, and when she comes up and he looks up, she was a total baddie. I mean, look at how gorgeous she looks. Hachiya almost thought he was there. He was waiting on the wrong person to come. But when he realized who she was, I was like, damn, I'm dating a certified baddie here because when she's at work, she doesn't look nowhere near like this. And when they're chatting on the date and they're having a good time, they're eating, and then obviously he's gonna confess to her that, listen, the reason of this date is not really because I like you or anything. It's because my boss dared me to do it. And of course, it really gotten off to a really bad start because she thought that she was being genuinely asked out, and she's like, well, listen, I'm not really the type that you would like. Maybe someone more outgoing, more extroverted. And of course, he's talking about all of this, and she gets upset. And he's like, "It's not like that. It's." And then, well, she's gonna go home because she's clearly upset about the situation and the fact that she was just asked out to get under her duties and also due to a bet. He goes on to explain to her, listen, it's not like that. I truly do like you, and he apologizes. And she's like, okay, well, listen, I know I'm not your type, but you could have at least, be more honest. And if that was the case, I wouldn't go out with you. So he tells her, he whispers sweet nothings to her. He tells her how beautiful she is, which is true. He generally means that. And of course, whilst they're talking, he changes her mind so quickly that he didn't even realize it worked. So of course, while he realizes they're standing outside of a hotel, bro was shook. So yes, they did ended up doing the deed, and that was part of the first episode. Not gonna lie, this was a wild start because the boss, I mean, come on. I mean, at least he's trying to be a wingman indirectly, if that's a thing. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the first episode. So we're gonna go to episode 2. So without further ado, episode 2. Okay, so welcome to episode 2. So apparently they ended up getting a contract, like $1 million contract, I believe. And they're all celebrating. So they're all talking about, hey, well, the boss actually tells them, hey, Hachiya, how was the date? And they're all talking and whatnot. They're celebrating, they're eating. And he was like, hey, listen, buddy, you're the one who told me to ask her, so I did. And she was like, oh, don't get mad. Who knows? She may be like you. You can never know. And he's like, well, what makes you think that? I mean, look at her. She doesn't look like she wants to be here, let alone celebrate with us. So why the hell not? And she's only here because of you. And he's like, well, what about you? Do you like her? And he's like, I don't like her like that. So a voice appeared out of nowhere, and then when Hachiya looks up, we saw none other than Sekiguchi. And Sekiguchi congratulates him on the contract and all of that. And he's like looking at her like very tentatively. And she goes to the boss and asks him, hey, listen, what happened between Yukimoto and Hachiya? And the boss whispers something in her ear, and then he's like, well, what do you think? And she's like, okay. Her mind just went insanely wild. Like, her imagination ran so wild that it's almost questionable. And he's like, well, listen. And then he goes to talking to himself. He was like monologuing. And he's like, well, damn, Sakaguchi is fine shit. So, but of course, he can't stop thinking about the couple nights that they spent together with Yukimoto and him. So, bro was so mad that bro started drinking like excessively. So, of course, she go into like this rant about how they become lovers and all of that. And I was like, well, damn, she has quite the imagination. She's very imaginative. So, of course, Yukimoto takes him back to his place, and yeah, they ended up doing it because bro was so hammered because he was drinking so much. And he tells her, listen, I need you to stay a bit longer for me because I really need your company. And she is like glancing at Hachiya, well, the exchange. And yeah, they ended up doing it again, but this time with a bit more intensity. Bro was drilling her guts out. So that is it for episode 2. So we're gonna go to episode 3. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 3 of this episode. Now, of this season, I would say. Sorry, not the episode, more like season. So, we at the beach. Again, as I once mentioned, even the spicy anime verse knows that it would be taboo not to have a beach or a festival episode. But in this particular episode, it's a beach episode. So, yeah, so we have Hachiya and Yukimoto in the backseat of a van because it looks like it was our company's retreat. So they're talking, and she is very, very bothered by the fact that she caused an accident. Now, let me explain the accident. Let me give you guys some more context. So, when he was like carrying some boxes and stuff, he didn't see Yukimoto, so he ended up tripping over the stairs, spraining his ankle. And it really bothers her because she was the one thinking to herself, I caused this. And he asks her, well, listen, she asks him, are you bothered by the fact that I'm here? And he's like, no, if anything, I enjoy being in your company. So they were going like back and forth for a little bit. And she tells him, listen, I want to make it up to you. And I want to give you that Gog 3000. And bro was like in shock. Bro was like, whoa, hey, yo. But and she was very bold with it too. She was like very, I wouldn't say aggressive, but I would say she's bold with it. But when he tells her, listen, I was just, playing a prank, and she of course was bothered by that for a little bit, of course. And then for like the split second, he's like, you know what, do your thing. And then we have Sekiguchi coming up to the car to check on him. And while all of this is going on, homegirl was giving this nigga head. Like he was giving her that sloppy toppy 3000. And mind you, this is going on while Sekiguchi is outside of the car. The glass is heavily tinted, so of course they're not gonna see she's not gonna see what's inside of the car. They could only see what's outside, but they can't see what's inside. And of course, after she left, girl was like feral at that point. Girl was riding the hell out of this man Schmidt. So aggressively that the car was literally bouncing. And after finishing what they did, of course, we end that episode right there with that beach episode. I'm going to go to episode 4. So without further ado, episode 4. All right, so welcome back to episode 4. So we started off with like the Hachi and his boss talking, and he asked him, listen, how do you feel about Yukahashi Yokimoto? How do you feel about her? And he's like, no, I do not like her that way, man. How many times am I gonna say it? And he's like, listen, it's very impossible for me to like someone like that. That ain't my type. My type is Sekiguchi. His boss basically tells him, listen, I need you to turn around. And when he turns around, he sees Yukahashi in tears. Her eyes are literally glistened from the fact that she overhears this. Not she didn't even overhear it. She literally heard this man said, "I am not interested in you." And girl was like hellishly reject. She felt rejected because of the fact that she's doing all of this for him, and they're spending so much quality time together. And then, of course, he goes to the room to apologize to her because of what he stated. And she's tried to play nonchalant for as long as she could possible. And she's like, well, it doesn't matter. We're not like we're official or anything, so might as well, I know I'm not your type, so, it's whatever. And homeboy was like, listen, I do genuinely like you a lot more than even than my type, which is Sekiguchi. And she gets up and then tells him, listen, I need to take a break. Will you come with me? He agreed, and then all of a sudden, bro was sneaked with a kiss, and they did it in the office, and they were raw dogging each other at that point. Not gonna lie, but anyways, I thought this was interesting. The relationship is very complex. Not gonna lie, because it's like which one is sending like the wrong mixed signals to who? Because on one hand, he's like, I don't like her like that. But then when she, out of nowhere and coincidentally appears, he's like, let me take it back. And kind of vice versa on her end too, because it's like she wants him to be with her, but at the same time she does not. I don't know. It's kind of complex, but let's get right into episode 5, shall we? So whilst they're working in the office, the boss tells Hachiya, listen, I need you to finish some work that's been piled up. So you are gonna have to make some overtime because again of all the backed up work that we missed out and we need to fulfill. And he's like, okay, no problem. And she's like she's blushing because she wants to tell him something. And she saw this magazine that she's holding, like, like she's clutching on them pearls. And he was asking her whether she liked the things that he bought, and kind of like a gym membership that she's in, because she uses the exercising routine as a stress reliever because she becomes very numb to it. And of course, they go to like this nearby hotel because it looks like they're driving to go home. Well, or could be anywhere, but they ended up in this hotel because rain started falling and they needed somewhere to stop because driving can be dangerous in the rain. And they go to the hotel and they're using literal toys. And not gonna lie, the hotel looks very nice and the prices seem rather reasonable too. And boy, oh boy, when I tell you, they were like dogs in heat. They were like, they're basically made for each other because, come on, a plain Jane and a kind of extroverted, he looks extroverted as hell because the way he's so social, and I mean, he's still a bit shy, but not as shy as Yukahashi because she's extremely shy and very, sheltered. I would say that, yes. And this is most guys' type, like the ones who is a freak, well, a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. I mean, even that's my type. I mean, them. I'm really not gonna admit the fact that we would love to have a plain Jane or the girl next door type of girl, the type of look in a woman. I would. I mean, Yukahashi is one of the prime examples of, you gotta keep it classy only outside of work, And yeah, that is pretty much it for episode 5. I mean, this was quite interesting. I like the fact that there is some character development and there is some, potential for a relationship. And all of this does not occur until the last episode. I mean, so far so good. The animation is actually pretty good. And the fact that they kept this relationship, I'm not gonna lie, this is more like friends with benefits type of relationship rather than something official, because the way they are acting, I mean, they're moving like a couple, don't get me wrong, they're moving like an official couple, but they have not made anything official, to say the least. So yeah, I think this was pretty interesting so far and yet complex, but it has to materialize at some point. So yeah, that is it for episode 5. So we have 3 more episodes to cover. Not gonna lie, I have never yapped this long. So without further ado, episode 6. So in this episode, they having like a company lunch, because they apparently landed another contract, and one of them saying even a rookie could have landed one. And then, of course, Sekiguchi is doing everything that it takes to take this man away from Yukahashi, because she's like, well, listen, you and her are not even official, so of course I can comfort you mentally and physically. And that guy in the background is like, are you guys dating or something? And he's like, no, we're not dating. We're not anything. And she's like, well, neither of us are partners, so I don't think that's a problem. So, of course, Yukahashi pops out of nowhere, giving him the nastiest side eye I've ever seen. And Sekiguchi was trying to play friendly. And she's like, nah, I'm not eating with y'all today, thanks. So she just walks away, and they're both like lost because of they can't really seem to predict her movements. She's very unpredictable, not gonna lie, which makes it interesting, even more interesting in that at that. So yeah, they ended up going and they ended up talking for a little bit more, and then of course he goes to follow her, and they ended up in this. I'm not even sure what the hell this is. It looks more like a conference room more than anything. And as they finished do what they needed to do, and he sees his boss and he's like, listen, I need you to come with me because we need to do something. And then of course he turns around and leaves, but of course he ended up dropping a piece of paper, and then what it looks like a condom, and of course he's gonna use it as leverage. I'm not gonna lie, that boss is one sneaky bastard, but I like him. So they're having a meeting between Sekiguchi and Hachiya, and the boss is like, listen, can you explain this to me, Hachiya? And Hachiya is like, wait, where did you get that from? And he's like, well, when you turn around to leave, you literally dropped it in front of me, so I ended up seeing what it was. And he's like, listen, I'm not here to blame you for that. I'm not here for that. No, it's actually something else. And Sekiguchi is interested, and he's like, oh, so this is what's happening. And he's like, well, didn't you say you were interested in dating Sekiguchi? And he's like, what are you talking about? I never said that. And he's like, well, am I wrong though? And Sekiguchi's right there. I'm like, oh my goodness, this man is something else. Bro is using every single countermeasure to make sure that he has some kind of leverage on him, which is crazy, by the way. But anyways, I think that marks the end of episode 5. So let's get to episode 6. So in this episode is where we get to see a bit more complex in the situation between these two. Not gonna lie, it's wild to see that they both can't seem to figure out what they actually want, because they've been physically involved. So it's kind of very difficult to explain what their like the status is, if they're like official or not. But from this point, it looks to me that they're very much official and they're very much in love with each other. But again, one can never know. So she just tells him, listen, I really do like you. I really do. I really want us to start something. And I don't want to. And she tells him, listen, I don't want to be, in the way of your type, because I know your type is Sekiguchi, because she's very outgoing. She's beautiful, gorgeous, and smart. And he's like, listen, that even though, yes, she might be my type, but she's not you. You're very different from her, and I very much want to be with you instead. So he hugs, they're like hugging, and he's asking her, well, listen, were you bothered by the fact that I was with Sekiguchi at the lunch? And she's like, no, listen, I don't even care about her, because I know you'll be the one coming back to me at the end of the day. And he's like, well, you know what? You're right, because even though it may look like he was in a compromised position, he still has eyes for her and nobody else. He doesn't even think about Sekiguchi that way. So on the next meeting, well, I would say this is their last meeting, because they both talking about the situation and how things are going so far. Sekiguchi is like, well, listen, and guy's cute, but he's with Yukahashi, so I can't really interfere. And he's like, well, listen, my guy, the superiors will not find out. I will keep it a secret. You just do what I have to say. And as they finish talking, they both walk out, and then it looks like they're in a complex situation. This is not one of those compromised situations. And then when Yukahashi steps up, she sees the boss, and she asks him, listen, what's going on with those two? And of course, with his instigating ass, He whispered in her ear saying they're dating, and of course, this really put her into a depressing mode. She was so depressed, sad, downright horrendous that tears was just like streaming. And well, of course, we wouldn't see the tears because of the rain, and she soaked. And yeah, she was like very sad at that point. She was like, after all that I did, this man still turned around and went with Sekiguchi. That's wild. So she tells him, listen, I want to break up. I don't think I can handle this type of relationship. And besides, the reason I want to break up is because I am not Sekiguchi. I am me. And I don't think I could ever have the confidence to be someone like her who's outgoing, gorgeous, and all of that. And he's like, listen. And then she backs away from him for a bit, of course. And he's like, well, listen, it was not like that. And of course, he's trying his best to make back things up with her. He's really trying hard to patch things up with her because, again, Will can tell that homeboy really likes her, very much so. And of course, she was like very happy to know that he likes her back. So they decided to make it official to try it once more. So, last episode. Finally, on the final episode, Sekiguchi asks him, listen, would you like to go out with me? And he reluctantly accepted, seeing her eyes really sad. Nah, again, oh my goodness, it's always some kind of situation with this guy. It's like he never catches a break. It's like the universe has a really dark humor on him. So they go on a date. She explains she wants to profess her feelings to him. And he was like really taken aback by this because this is the first time that someone that he actually likes him back. Especially when there's a situation where he's with Yukahashi and as they're talking, they're like, and he's like, listen, I don't think this could never be a thing. This will never happen. Even at a friends with benefits level, it will never be a thing because I'm already involved with someone that I truly care about. And she's really like saddened by this because I mean, come on, let's be honest. If we really being realistic about the situation, she doesn't like him like that. She just wanna test him, and she was really testing him to see if he would have fallen for the trap. And of course, she turns around and casually smile at this, and because she respects the fact that he put us not only set a standard, but also he stood on business, and he was like, okay, listen. I really hope you find what you're looking for, but I am not the person you're looking for. And of course, he asks her, where is she? No, I mean, she tells him where she is, and she's in a park sitting lonely and very sad. And he's going to run towards her and goes to profess his feelings towards her. And she was like, again, she was not expecting him to show up. She was just like waiting for, well, for the trap to spring. Because again, Sekiguchi was springing a trap for him, which he did not fall for. And he goes on to telling her, well, listen, I really want to be with you. I want to make things official. I don't think I want to be in any more compromising positions because I think I have learned my lesson and I know who I truly want. And of course, yes, she accepted it. She accepted the officiality, if that's a word, the officiality of their relationship and making it solid. So yeah, that is it for this. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna lie, I haven't yapped this much in a long time. So this was actually a great season. I'm not sure if they'll ever make a season two, but if you guys are watching this video, please make a season two because I would like to know where this ends or where would it lead to. If it's gonna lead up to a part where they get married or will she break up with him again and she might actually move on with someone else. What is the case there? Because there's so many possibilities. But the way the episode ended, it ended in a way where they might end up getting married. Who knows if they make a season two? I'm assuming that's the only. I mean, of course, there's gonna be rough patches in between. Just like in this season, this very season one, there were some rough patches. There were makeups, there were breakups, and then there were makeups. There is like back and forth, there's development, there's just like there's just so many elements in this show. So yeah, I really enjoy this, and to give it an honest rating, I'd rate it a 9.5 out of 10 because it was so complex, but yet there was some character development in between. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think in this in the comments. I mean, what was your least favorite part? What was your favorite episode? And yeah, I might do another series soon. I was actually thinking of doing the one. I can't remember the name of the show, but it starts with Showtime. It's about a singer who ended up dating and also being official with a single dad because the mom passed away. If you guys can, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys any further. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, have a good one and peace out.